this piece of wood here is a sample, or is a piece of pine cut from the same piece of scrap lumber as the keystone. And when I have this in my hand, I think of that it must have been once a living tree, a living thing. And I wonder, from what source did it receive life? And the answer I've counseled myself is from its parent tree, which transmitted life through a pine cone, I suppose, to the infant pine tree, which grew to a merchantable size, and somebody cut it down and sawed it up for lumber, and a piece of it ended up in my yard here. And when I think that that ancestral tree must have had an ancestral tree, which must have had an ancestral tree, excuse me, and when I entertain this chain of ancestral trees back to infinity, question mark, there must be an original cosmic source of life, or power, which transmitted life to the arch ancestral tree of this pine tree here. And then NASA comes along without anyone's approval except their own, blasted a hole in a bypassing comet. And if there was a source of an original source of life which transmitted life to this tree, I think that same original source must have been responsible for the Earth, the planets, the stars, the sun, and that sort of thing, and comets. So here's NASA presuming to blast a hole in a bypassing comet that didn't belong to them. Now, let me apply that principle. I think that is the mentality of the thief, the pickpocket, and the rapist, myself, to see something that appeals to them and simply take it or destroy it, whatever. You know. So applying that thought process to this. Now there's no adhesive material of any kind in that. Now suppose NASA comes along and says, I wonder what would happen if we removed one of those. That's what would happen. And this is the background, or the bedrock for a great story when one considers that the administrator of NASA was appointed by the President of the United States and confirmed by the Senate of the United States, as is the President of the Federal Reserve System. And so the NASA and the Federal Reserve System are political cousins, and each one of us, through the elective process that we participate in or don't participate in, is responsible for that. And I think that's worth thinking about. Thank you. Hello. My voice is still giving me fits. I'm sorry about that, but nothing I can do. It's coming along. But today is the 18th of April, 2014, and I'd like to speak today about my absence of business. I don't have any business sense. But first, I'd like to tell you about a great American, his name, whom I will be speaking about next time. Please Google Rupert Costo, R-U-P-E-R-T-C-O-S-T-O, Rupert Costo, because I want you to understand in advance why I want to speak about this man. He's a great American, God bless. And then I'll tell you also about today's topic. That etching behind me was done by a man named Luigi Casimir. It's of downtown Vienna, Austria. When the Korean War came along in 1950, it was the 25th of June, 1950. I just graduated high school in 1948. I was still, what, 19, 20 years old. Uncle Sam says, all right, all you young men, I want you to come to the military. If you don't come to the military, I'll put you in prison. So, hey, sign me up. Actually, I didn't enter the United States Army. I was a volunteer, though. I did enlist in the United States Army in 1952. And Uncle Sam said, I need you more in my Army of Occupation in Europe than in Korea, Raymond. So there you go. So I was in Vienna, Austria from 1953 through 1955. And in that time, I met a woman named Eva, and we were married in 1954. And in a couple of months, we will have been married 60 years. Been playing house a little longer than that, though. Ooh. Anyway, when I first met Eva, she asked me if I would bring her 2 packages of cigarettes from the PX. Sure. So for me, cigarettes cost me $1 per carton. That's 10 cents a pack. That's what I paid for those cigarettes. So I put 2 packages of cigarettes on her desk. She said, "How much?" I said, "Oh, 20 cents." No. She handed me 40 cents. I said, "Everybody else charged me 40 cents." I thought, no, look. And I was thinking to myself out loud, I'm a private in the United States Army. I make $80 a month, and the average Austrian at that time was earning $40 a month. I thought, why on earth should I charge people twice what I paid for something when I have already twice what the other guy has? To me, this is logic which I could not understand. But the people in my colleagues, my friends, my fellow buddies there in the Army, and nearly everyone else was dealing in the black market. But to me, it didn't make sense. So anyway, I have no business sense. I've gone through life without any business sense, which is at times has been a very and rather embarrassing handicap, I have to say that. And that explains my no business sense. Now, I would also like to say something about NASA, N-A-S-A. But my voice is such a handicap. I'll have to rely on something I said in 2009 on another video. So my 12-year-old 6th grade guru is going to phase into that now. God bless you guys. Hey, thanks for being here again. Ciao. Bye.